Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are located in the world. My name is Mark Fuller. This is TeamAlliance. I have a very good Ask Mark Anything question today. This is interesting because I literally did this video already, and the audio was not recorded during the video. So I'm doing it over. But it's okay, things happen. And one of my YouTube subscribers, on YouTube, his name is Random Weirdness. Shout out to Random Weirdness for the question. But the question was, what made you want to pursue trading the markets as your career? And I'm going to try my best just to repeat what I was saying when I did this video the first time. It was very good, actually. But I'm going to break it down and delve into it a little bit so that you guys can get the proper context of what I'm going to say. First and foremost, I just want to give you a little bit of background. I know that I've spoken on my background in the past and in previous videos, but I'm going to go a little bit more into detail because of this question. Primarily what actually made me want to get involved with the markets and trading the markets was the idea of freedom. The concept of being able to do something that is fully dependent on your ability. You're not relying on a job, and you're not relying on anyone else to be responsible for your success. That is what made me want to pursue trading, period. Now, I developed that urge very early on in my life because when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I was always interested in making money. I was very good at saving money. I used to do chores in the house, and my mother used to give me money for doing chores. I used to save my money up. So, at 10 years old, 10 years old, I had hundreds of dollars that I would save up. Always had money. There was a time I remember when I had $1,000 in cash, and there was some type of situation that was going on with my family financially, and I offered the money to my mother. I was like, here, use this. And you talk about somebody crying, she started bawling. She was really boo-hooing because she already knew that this was how I was built. And then the fact that I'm willing to give it all back, just from me being a saver and wanting to save and, to stack up money, instead of just always spending and splurging. That wasn't how I was built. And I'm not even built like that now. I'm very conservative when it comes to spending. I guess opposite to track because my wife is not. I'm just joking. But even after that, by the time I was of age to work on a job, I remember I was 14 years old, and where I lived at, you can get your working papers when you were 14. You had to turn 14 to get your working papers. So that means you can get a job. So you could get a summer job. That year, I believe I was in the summer program, and I had a job in the summer program. I think we were getting paid $5 an hour, whatever the minimum was. And that was my first job experience. I worked in an office. And after the program was up, they were offering to keep some of us on board even after the program was finished. So after the program was up, if they liked you, they would keep you. So needless to say, they kept me on board. They liked me very much. And I got a lot of work experience. I got to meet people and network with, people that were already in the type of environment that I knew I was going to be around, because I was already interested in the markets, and I already knew that eventually I would make my way to some type of brokerage firm to learn, not necessarily to become a broker, but I wanted to learn about the market. So I knew I would have to do that. But anyway, so from the time I was age 14, I was working. Then I had got another job, and the second job that I got was my actual job. Like after that, I was working there for like 2 years, and it was at a hardware store. And it's interesting, like how the jobs were just so dramatically different. I went from working in the office to working in the hardware store, learning about hammers and the size of screws, and, understanding what caulking was, and learn how to mix paint colors. Like, learning is something that you should always do, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. So I took everything serious that I did. So I took that job very seriously, became very good at doing that job. When the time came to leave that job, I left that job to work on Wall Street as an intern. I had got an apprentice position, which basically means, you go and work for a real broker and you start making cold calls. They want you to call like 400 or 500 people a day. Get on the phone. Don't take no breaks. Every time they come around, you better be on the phone making calls, period. They gave you a little bit of money each week, a few $100s a week or whatever. And that was your job, to make cold calls all day. Hours, like 10 hours a day. So anyway, one thing led to the next. I learned even more about the market. I was always reading. When I worked at the hardware store, in the very front of the store, they had a magazine rack. And on that magazine rack, they had all of these different, financial magazines that just caught my attention immediately. Kiplinger's, Smart Money, Money Magazine. There was another one that was very popular that I used to love to read. But all of these different magazines were talking about mutual funds, different brokerages that you could trade stocks on. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like if you were raised at that time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like when mutual funds were big during that time. I was like 14, 15 years old. So one thing led to the next. And, that's how I developed my interest in wanting to do trading for myself, because I knew that people did trade for themselves. Then when the internet began to come along and they were like, yo, you can trade online. I was like, what? So I think it might have been E-Trade or Charles Schwab, one or the other. They were one of the first companies to introduce the online platform where you could trade stocks as a retail trader. Like just a regular person, sign up for an account. They had big minimums too. You couldn't open an account with $100. If you wanted to trade stocks, you had to open an account with like $2,000. And I had that money. I had enough money to open up my own brokerage account. And opened up my account, started dabbling with stocks, started dabbling with options. Time went on. Later on came what came after stocks and options? Yeah, I went to stocks, then index options, stock options. After that came Forex shortly after. And once I got into Forex, that was it. Like that, I knew. I was like, yeah, this is the one right here. So all this time I'm working on jobs. Like I've been working the whole time since I was 14 years old. By the time I had the last job before I left that job in 2006. And before I left that job, I had already been trading Forex. I was trading Forex. I bought a laptop. Never forget it. Bought a heavy ass Dell laptop. And I used to ride around in the vehicle, the company vehicle that I used to drive. I used to have my laptop right here in the middle console. And I'm trading, looking at charts. My coworkers like, man, this dude, he riding around trading, he living the life. Little did they know I wasn't planning on working there forever like them. They want to retire from that job. You know, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, I want to get out of here and trade full time. So I need to get everything that I'm doing in order so that I can do that. And that's what I did. I learned how to trade, taught myself how to trade, lost a lot of money. But in the process, I also learned from the market. So it really was at that point, 9-10 years old, when I started saving up money, that I knew that I wanted to pursue a career of my own. I just didn't know what it was yet. By the time I was 13, 14, I began to see what it was. I'm like, oh, people trade stocks. I think that's what I'm going to do. See, this was before Forex. I didn't even know about Forex yet. I just knew that you could trade stocks, and now you got the internet. You could do it online. That's all I knew. Then Forex came along, icing on the cake right there. So that's kind of what made me want to pursue trading as a career. You know, just the culmination of everything that I kind of went through and experienced through my jobs and through meeting people, you know, making the right connections and things of that nature, learning on my own. You know, I remember there was a guy that was a broker that I met at the church that I was going to at the time in Manhattan. And he introduced me to just a lot of kind of inside information regarding how the markets work. And, you know, just being exposed to him, then he realized the amount of knowledge that I had. And he was like, you know, you're better than what we do. We do both. We're brokers. We trade on behalf of people. Like, we place the trades for them, but we're not trading for ourselves like that. You trading for yourself. What you're doing is even better than what I'm doing. So he kind of put that bug in my ear, and I was like, yeah. I was like, because I want to be able to just do it from my house. Like, I don't want to have to go and do it for a company. That's not what my goal was. I didn't want to trade on behalf of a corporation. I wanted to trade for myself. Period. So, you know, you can kind of see what led up to me ultimately wanting to do this for a career. It really was just learning more about what could be done more than anything, you know. And once I saw what was possible, I was like, yeah, that's the direction I'm moving. And that's exactly what I did. While I was working at my job, had my laptop, you know, people were always asking me to trade for them. You know, if I give you some money, can you trade for me, this and that? And I actually did trade for people at one time when I was much younger. You know, I had set up an actual little corporation, and I did a lot, man. I did a lot. I can keep going, but I'm going to kind of pause it here because I'm already 13 minutes into this video. But anyway, you know, what I say that to say this, ultimately what really led up to me wanting to do this as my career was knowing that I would be able to have the freedom. So that, for me, that's what it was about more than anything. The freedom, the ability to not have a boss, to work for myself, and to not be limited or restricted by how much money I could make. I knew I could make whatever I wanted to once I developed enough skill to do so. So that's kind of what, you know, led up to where I'm at right now. And it's very powerful. You know, I'm very appreciative. I'm very grateful. And I'm very humble also. Like, I don't feel like I'm better than anyone because I have this skill. If anything, I'm willing to teach the skill to, you know, as many people as that want to learn it as possible. And it's not about me trying to make money from that aspect of it. I make money trading. The fact that people want to train with me, you know, those of you who were students know how I am already. Like, I'm very passionate about what I do. We train every night. You know, I'm always engaged with you guys in the group chat because I want to see people win the way that I'm able to win. I don't want it to just be me. I want to see people who are regular, ordinary, you know, working on a job but don't want to work on a job forever. You know, they don't know what they are going to do yet for retirement. These are real issues and situations that people have. So to have something that people can learn as far as a skill, and then they can apply it to actually create something for themselves financially to change their future and their trajectory, that's powerful to me. That's fulfilling to me also. It makes me feel wonderful when people, are leaving their job to trade full time as a result of the training on TeamAlliance. That's crazy to me. Crazy. And it's happening. It has happened multiple times already. And mind you, I've been just doing training for not even a year yet at this level. So anyway, you guys can definitely, get involved. If you want to train with me, send me a text message, 914-979-2317. You can also reach out to me directly on Facebook, which is the fastest way. Send me a friend request. Let me know that you want to get into training. Continue to watch these educational videos, the Ask Mark Anything videos. If you have an Ask Mark Anything question, feel free. Post a reply underneath this video. Respond. Just give me the feedback. Let me know what the question is, and I'll be more than glad to make a video for it. Continue to watch the educational content if you're not ready to begin training yet, and just educate yourself about, what these markets are about, what it is that you actually need to be successful as far as trading, and, just get in the know. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of knowledge, plenty of education in this content, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the content and getting value from it. So that's what my goal is. That's what my intent is. And I appreciate all of you. All right. So those of you looking to train, I will see you in training soon. For everyone else, continue enjoying the educational content, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Mark Fuller, TeamAlliance. You guys take care. Have a great day. Be safe out there. Peace and love.